Hello all, and welcome to another video brought to you by Truckee1701. Before I begin my little subject today, I would like to take time to thank you for all the new friends that have added me, and thank you for all the new subscribers. I really appreciate people checking out these videos, and that's the whole reason why I do these videos, is to show you something different that a lot of YouTubers that I see out there aren't showing you. The type of movies I like to talk about are definitely, I think, different than what most people out there are talking about. But that being said, I got bored today and I thought I would do a new feature video called Top 10 Movies of the Year. And since I'm still working on the top 10 list of 2010, I thought I would show you what my thoughts were on the top 10 movies of the year 2009. And before people start leaving comments like, oh, it's not the year 2009, dumbass, I thought I would, I know we're not in the year 2009, but for the sake of this video, I thought, well, why not, I'm bored. And I know you people enjoy it when I show off a new video, so I thought, why not? So I'm going to show you my pick of the top 10 movies of the year 2009, even though we are not in the year 2009. But the way I like to rank these movies is 10 to 1, 10 being what I thought was an okay movie of the year, 1 being what I thought was best movie of the year. And I'm going to try to go through the lower numbers pretty quickly, because this video seems to keep cutting it out on me every time I start talking about the number 1 movie of the year. So I'm going to go through this pretty quickly here. First movie is Race to Witch Mountain. Yes, I know people are shocked that I actually like this movie. I know a lot of people hated it, but I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed this movie. I've not seen I never saw the original Race to Witch Mountain, but I did enjoy this, and I'm really a big fan of Dwayne Johnson, The Rock movies. I don't know. To me, he's as close as we're going to get to another Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I just really enjoyed this movie. Even though the child actors in this movie, I did think their acting ability kind of sucked. But that being said, I still enjoyed it. That coming in at number 9, another movie that a lot of people hated. I personally enjoyed this movie, was G.I. Joe. I really, like I said, really enjoyed this movie. I thought the characters were well done. I thought the action was well done. And it's just one of those all-around great popcorn type of movies. I don't really get the beef of why so many people are ripping on this movie, but I really enjoyed it. And coming in number 8, The Fantastic Mr. Fox. Now this movie was just one of those quirky, different type of movies I really enjoyed. I don't know what type of animation they used on this movie, but I think it was clay animation. I'm pretty sure there were types of clay animation in this movie, and it was just so different from the usual Pixar and CGI movies that you see out there. When I saw the trailers for this movie, it really just was one of those movies I wanted to see, and having watched it recently, I can honestly say this was definitely one of those top 10 movies of the year, if not for anything else, definitely for the type of animation they did on this movie, because I just thought it was really, really different, and it was a good story. Plot-wise, I didn't really think it was anything different than Ocean's 11, but it is definitely I think it's definitely a lot funnier than Ocean's 11 was. But definitely check it out if you get a chance to. I don't know how many people would like this movie out there, but I definitely enjoyed this. And coming in at number 7 is I Love You, Beth Cooper. And definitely one of those different type of movies that I think came under the radar for a lot of people. I don't think a lot of people I've certainly not heard a lot of people talk about this movie. I just thought this was another great comedy, an all-around funny movie. It really reminded me a lot of one of those 80s flicks that I used to like to watch, like The Breakfast Club and Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And I really enjoyed this flick a lot, more than I thought I was. When I originally rented it, I was like, oh man, I'm really gonna hate this movie, but I ended up enjoying it immensely. And I highly recommend anybody who's not seen this movie at least rent it, because it's really a great flick. And coming in at number 6 spot is Taken by Liam Neeson, starring Liam Neeson. And what I really liked about this movie was not only the story and the plot, but the fact that anybody could actually make Liam Neeson into an action star is just beyond belief to me. If you had told me like a year before this movie came out that Liam Neeson would star in an action flick, I would have been like, oh, that's a horrible idea for a movie. I mean, you always see Liam Neeson as a mentor to like every movie character out there these days, whether it's Bruce Wayne or Darth Vader, you know. But in this movie, he definitely proved that he could be a kick-ass action star. And like I said, the story was great. Nothing really different story-wise, but just an all-around great action flick. I highly recommend anybody checking this movie out if you've not seen it. Definitely worth checking out. And coming in at the number 5 spot on my list is Terminator Salvation. Now, this was another movie that when I saw the trailers for, I didn't know if I was actually going to like this movie or not, because it looked just so different from the other movies. Not only because Arnold Schwarzenegger wasn't in the movie, but it just looked different direction-wise and like picture-wise, you know. Didn't look like it was going to be the same old thing, and it wasn't, really. But they still, put the Terminator franchise, they combined all of the Terminator movies and, all the stories, and I really think that this, what I liked about this movie was it was almost like a reboot of the Terminator franchise, yet it wasn't. Like, they started almost from the very beginning, yet they still continued along the Terminator movie timeline, you know what I mean? Like, you can almost say it was like a prequel, but it really wasn't. But anyway, that being said, I enjoyed Christian Bale. I always seem to like his movies, and I definitely liked him playing John Connor in this movie. And my favorite scene in this whole movie is when they digitally brought back the 80s Arnold Schwarzenegger in one scene. That scene really made the movie for me. I really just loved it a lot and really enjoyed it immensely. Next movie I have is The Hangover. I really thought this was a really funny movie of the year. Even though it's rated R, and usually I don't really find rated R movie type of comedies really that funny, but I really enjoyed this movie immensely, and I'm glad they're making a sequel to this because I think it definitely deserves it. What I really like about this movie is not only is it a mystery, but it's also a mystery with a comedy mixed to it, and that's just one of those combinations you never see anymore in Hollywood. And I really just enjoyed this movie all around. That's why it made it to the number 4 spot, really. Another movie that I enjoyed that came in at number 3 spot, and Zombieland. Really enjoyed this movie. Also, another movie I didn't think I was going to enjoy. I know I say that a lot throughout this list, but really this movie came recommended to me by a friend of mine. Didn't think I was going to like it because I've not seen a lot of zombie movies. See, I'm not one of those people that like slasher flicks or horror flicks. I really stay away from those type of movies, not only because everybody and his brother seems to be doing YouTube videos of my DVD collection, and they're all the same movies to me. They're all, they all seem to be showing off their Halloween collection or their Friday the 13th collection in these YouTube videos. And, like, to me, I don't find those movies at all amusing or entertaining. I don't know why. To me, they're all the same thing, really. And, but this movie, what I really liked about it was just really downright funny in a lot of parts, and just an all-around great cast and a great storyline. And Bill Murray does appear in this movie, and he does something that he's not done in a long time, which is actually play a comedy role. Lately, Bill Murray seems to be trying to do the more serious roles lately, and I think I just haven't liked him since. But in this movie, he does do a comedy role, and I think he does it well. He plays himself, and I think he's like the greatest character in this movie out of the whole movie. But that being said, I really enjoyed this movie. If you've not seen it, I highly recommend it. Even if you don't like zombie flicks, this is really different from a lot of the zombie flicks out there. And I just highly recommend people checking this movie out. And coming in number 2 spot is Up. Really enjoyed it. Not much I can say about this movie, except that if you've seen a lot of Pixar movies, and if you've seen this movie, you definitely know what I'm talking about. I really, really, really enjoyed this movie. Didn't think I was going to like this movie because, like I said, I saw the trailers for it, and it looked, kind of boring to me. But I ended up renting this, and really liking it. I really loved the opening montage sequence in this movie, and I really enjoyed it. Can't say enough about it, but that being said, if you haven't seen it, definitely rent it. Now for my number 1 movie of the year. This movie, to me, was the greatest movie this year, and it's a movie I watch all the time called Star Trek. And this is one of those movies that was obviously a reboot, and I've heard a lot of people trashing this movie around my area, at least in Pennsylvania. But that being said, I just love this movie. I thought it was a great way to reboot a franchise, and I enjoyed all the cast, and I enjoyed, how they rebooted it, and I enjoyed the fact that, what I liked about this movie was not only was it a reboot, but it was a reboot in a different timeline. And the fact that they, changed timelines, I thought was just a great way to tell the same story a different way, And I just found that whole, subject to be the best thing about this movie, was the fact that it takes place in an alternate timeline. And a lot of people, I think, didn't get that, or didn't like the fact that it was an alternate timeline. But if you check out a lot of the Star Trek episodes throughout the different series, you'll see that there's a lot of episodes devoted to different timelines in this, throughout the Star Trek timeline, itself. And it was just a great all-around movie. The cast, I thought was great. They didn't, try to play it dead rights to the character themselves. I thought they each brought something unique and different to the characters they were portraying, and they didn't try to go out of their way to alienate the core fans of Star Trek. When I heard they were going to do a reboot of the Star Trek franchise, I was just shuddering, because I thought, oh my god, here comes another reboot that's really going to alienate me as a Star Trek fan, but really didn't. And like I said, definitely my number 1 pick, movie of the year, and that's really all I have to say about it. If you've not seen it, go out and rent it. That being said, thanks for subscribing, and thanks for watching. And thanks for checking out this movie. Hope you like